Is America the most depressed country on earth? The short answer is it's complicated, but America's numbers are alarming. America is one of the highest nations of depressed people. Hey guys, welcome back to the Anchor Show. My name is Andrew. I am a mental health therapist and I'm also a life coach. So my previous video I did was on depression, right? And I was just addressing depression, particularly amongst men, the male population. And today I want to expand upon that just a little bit, but I want to kind of shift my focus to America and why. Why is it that depression is so high in America, right? America ranks itself as the best country on earth, right? It has so many resources, so many medical resources and mental health resources, yet it's one of the most depressed countries on earth. Why is that? Well, I don't know exactly. There are a few points that I'll get into here in a second. Now, globally, some of the highest depression rates are reported in Greenland, Greece, Tunisia, which is a surprise to me, and Portugal, also a surprise to me, considering that a lot of people are migrating to Portugal. According to international health data, their age standardized prevalence of depression ranges between 7 and 8.5% of the population. The US, by its own surveys, reports that about 8.3% of American adults experienced a major depressive episode in just 1 year. Now, those numbers, in my opinion / observation, I believe is so inaccurate. And why is that? Because, well, for one, it talks about just adults. There are plenty of depressed children, unfortunately, teenage and even preteens. A lot of children are unfortunately depressed. And then the other aspect of that is, I don't want to say most, but a lot of depressed people don't seek help. A lot of people that are dealing with depression, they deal with it on their own. They deal with it in silence, right? The people around them, their family members, maybe friends, know that they're depressed, but they don't seek help. A lot of times, even when help is recommended, they don't seek it, right? So let's look at a few of the things that stand out, right? So the aftershock of the pandemic left many people still struggling. I think that COVID shaped a lot of people's behavioral practices and habits for good. What I mean is, prior to the lockdown and prior to the isolation, which was forced upon us, a lot of people were able to, socialize and, spend more time with friends and family members. But ever since the shutdown, people became isolationists. They practically just stay to themselves, and it remains that way in a lot of cases. Some people just never recovered from that, right? Social isolation and loneliness is also one of the issues, as nearly 1 in 3 Americans report being lonely, right? Why? Again, because it's coming from, in part, the whole COVID shutdown situation. A lot of people still just kind of stick to themselves rather than, try to reintegrate and become social again, right? Substance use and chronic pain worsens mental health, right? A lot of people who are facing chronic pain end up having to turn to like opioids for relief, and they become depressed, right? Then, not to mention economic stress and inequality, right? I think that's probably one of the top causes, because nowadays it is so hard for people to survive. Literally, I would say most people are just in survival mode. They're just getting by each day, just barely getting by, right? Not really thriving, not really enjoying life as they would love to, or as it was meant to be. They're just thriving. So of course that's going to lead to depression, right? Now, as far as men, part of the reason for why the depression in men stand out so much is because of stigma, right? And just that fear of seeking help when you need it, right? There's a stigma around men and mental health where it's like men feel like they're weak if they seek help. If you're having some issues mentally and you want to, prioritize getting some help, that seems as weakness. No, it's not. It's the opposite. And that's what I'm saying. It's, we're taught things in the wrong order, or we're straight up taught a bunch of lies. Let's just be honest. Right? If you're dealing with, because think about it. If you have a physical ailment, right, or an injury or any sort of illness physically, you're going to go seek help. If it's alarming enough, you're going to go seek help, right? What's the difference between the physical health and the mental health? It's even arguable that the mental health is more important than the physical, right? So the same way you go to the doctor if you have a bad headache that just won't go away, right? It's the same way you should be seeking help if you have mental issues that you can't handle on your own, right? That actually makes you strong, not weak, because what you're doing is strengthening your weakness by seeking help that you need, right? So these are some of the reasons why depression here in America is just so prevalent. And not to mention the fact that the American system and how it's designed, right? You become a slave to your house, to your car. If you're someone who has a car, has a home that you purchased, right? You become a slave to these things. You have to keep working and working and working to pay for these things years on end, right? And oftentimes, especially in these current times that we're living, you don't really even get to enjoy the fruits of your labor because you spend so little quality time at home because you're always working. When you do come home, you're so tired, you probably just go crash out. Just pass out and go sleep, right? And you got to get up early the next morning to go do it again. And that cycle just continues with no end to it because guess what? You got to pay that car note. You got to pay that mortgage. You got to pay all those utility bills. Got to pay the insurance, etc., right? So all of those things are going to contribute to mental illness and depression, to be specific. Now, another aspect of this that I personally like to look at is the comparison between people from different countries and people that were born here, right? I find that a lot of people from other countries tend to deal with depression or just mental illnesses a little bit different from people that were born here. And what I've come to find out is that their upbringing, and when I say other people, I'm referring to people that are from, say, a background that they grew up struggling, right? They didn't grow up in privilege. They grew up struggling. There was a lot of lack in their lives growing up. That lack, those struggles makes them resilient, right? And a lot of times these people, myself included, you see America as a land of opportunity. So when you come here, your focus is to take advantage of the opportunity that is in front of you, right? So you just want to work hard towards, or smart, but work towards accomplishing the goals that you set out on accomplishing. So oftentimes it's not that you're not depressed, or it's not that you're not stressed or dealing with other, issues, childhood traumas or just traumas in general, but you are so locked in, focused on success to the point where you almost, it's like you put on your blinders, right? So the problem is there, but you don't see it, right? You choose not to see it. And for whatever reason, it's not quite the same for folks that were born here. Now that I can't particularly provide an accurate reason behind that. It's just an observation, right? I can't say why is it that way, but it's just an observation, right? And so I am actually very curious to hear your thoughts, right? What are your thoughts on why is it that in some cases, immigrants, particularly those from background of where they struggled, in their upbringing, why is it that they seem to deal with depression or just mental issues or social issues a lot better than people that say were born here, especially those that were born here in privilege? I'm very curious to know what your thoughts are in regards to why that's the case, right? I've even heard people talk about how much they go on vacation, right? They go somewhere in the Caribbean maybe, or just wherever, but they went somewhere outside of America on vacation. And as soon as they re-entered America, the depression starts again. While they were on vacation, they were perfectly fine. Now, that kind of makes sense, right? You're on vacation, you're having fun, you're letting loose, you're not thinking about responsibilities, but coming back represents work, 9 to 5, the stress that comes with that, the rat race, the hustle, the bustle, bills, etc. So I can see from that perspective why people coming back, the depression would hit them the minute they're back on that plane or the minute they land, right? But there's more to it. I think it gets deeper than just the fact that, okay, now you got to stop having fun and go back to responsibilities. I think it gets deeper than that, and it's worth exploring even further. So again, if you have any thoughts on that, I would love to hear it, right? Bottom line, depression is treatable though, right? If you're struggling, talk to someone you trust, right? Go get it checked, right? We should, if we treat our, and this is specifically for us men, if we treat our mental health like some of us treat our cars, would be better off, right? A lot of dudes, they spend so much quality time cleaning their cars, washing it, maintaining it, making sure that it looks shiny, making sure that the engine runs right, making sure that everything is good, right? If we treat our mental health and mental well-being in that same manner, right? Checking up on it on a regular basis, making sure everything is good, I guarantee that we'll be in a much better position. We'll be on the path of becoming the best version of ourselves, right? So if you're struggling, whether alone or maybe, this is something that you're working on. If you're working on it already, great, continue to work on it. But if you're struggling silently, seek help. Seek help. Don't let nothing or nobody stop you from seeking the help that you need. Go ahead and seek help. All right. You can talk to a therapist. You can talk to someone you trust. You can talk to, a pastor, if you go to church, but seek help, right? You can talk to your primary care provider and let them make a referral. But bottom line is seek help. We're going to normalize the habit and the culture of seeking help when we need it, not just for mental issues, but for anything that we need help with, right? Let's speak up. Let's seek help when we need it. All right. That is it for today, guys. I hope that you took some value from this one. Until the next one, let's continue to grow, evolve, and transform into the best version of ourselves. Peace. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend. Thank you.